Leo, let me ask you something. Have you ever walked into a room and felt the energy shift, but no one said a word? Have you noticed how people suddenly sit straighter, how conversations grow louder, or how silence deepens? It's not your imagination. You are not just seen, Leo, you are felt. You don't simply enter spaces, you alter their frequency. But the deeper truth is you've been doing this all your life, without even realizing it. And while you may have questioned why some people are drawn to you like moths to flame, why others act oddly competitive around you, why some relationships burn too bright, too fast, and then disappear without warning, the reason isn't because Zoe, you're too much. It's because your energy carries too many truths people weren't ready to feel. Leo, you are not just a zodiac sign. You are a cosmic mirror, a solar catalyst, a living reminder of what it means to be unapologetically radiant. You see, the sun never asks for permission to shine. It doesn't tone itself down for comfort, and neither should you. But here's the catch. The energy you naturally radiate creates effects, powerful, invisible effects in the minds, hearts, and behaviors of others. And most of those effects, they're happening beneath your awareness. In this video, I'm going to reveal to you 10 spiritual and psychological ways you are affecting people just by being who you are. Not through effort, not through manipulation, but through your very presence. Some of these effects will explain why people admire you. Others will explain why some people fear you or even disappear after getting close. Either way, once you become conscious of your impact, you'll realize something very important. You were never meant to blend in. You were born to wake people up. And from now on, you'll understand exactly how you've been doing that all along. Are you ready to see what your light is really doing in the lives of others? Part 1. Hidden effect number 1, you trigger inner truths. Leo, your presence does something most people can't explain, but they feel it instantly. You walk into a space and without saying a word, people shift. They may smile wider, sit straighter, act more confident, but deep down they're uneasy. Not because of what you do, but because of what you awaken. You trigger something hidden, something internal, something many people have spent years trying not to face. You see, most people live behind subtle layers of performance, even if they don't realize it. They shape themselves to please others. They speak carefully to avoid judgment. They dream quietly so they won't be disappointed. They're not lying, but they're not exactly living in truth either. Then you appear, and without knowing it, you become the mirror they weren't ready for. Your energy isn't passive. It's not neutral. It carries an undeniable clarity, and clarity makes people confront their own distortions. You don't try to expose anyone. You just live openly. You speak from the center of your being. You show up as yourself, raw, radiant, real, and that alone is enough to make someone feel like their soul is under a spotlight. That's why people sometimes overshare around you. It's why they suddenly question themselves after spending time with you. And it's why some people pull away, not with anger, not with blame, but with quiet discomfort. Because when someone has built their identity on pretending, the presence of someone who doesn't pretend at all can feel like a threat. But it's not you they're afraid of. It's what you represent. You represent what they've been avoiding. Their truth, their forgotten voice. The real version of themselves, the one they buried long ago to survive in a world that rewards masks. And when they meet you, something cracks. Sometimes they'll thank you. Sometimes they'll ghost you. But the impact is the same. You triggered something real, and once it's awakened, it can't be ignored. Life lesson: your authenticity is not a flaw to tone down. It's a frequency of awakening. Those who can handle it will grow. Those who can't will retreat. But you don't need to change a single thing, because being real is your power. Have you ever felt like just being yourself made others uncomfortable or made them walk away without reason? Share your experience below if this resonates with your journey. Part 1. Hidden effect number 2. You raise the bar without saying a word. Leo, you don't need to teach a lesson to change someone's life. You don't need to preach about success. You don't need to demand excellence. You don't even need to ask people to try harder. Because when people are around you, they just do. They start pushing themselves more. They start wanting more. They stop settling. And they don't always know why. But we both do, don't we? You are a walking standard. You carry an invisible expectation that radiates from your energy, not because you're arrogant, but because you hold yourself to levels most people never even imagine. And that's contagious. Your refusal to accept less than what you know you're capable of, it spills over into your conversations, your actions, even your silence. and people around you begin to feel it. Suddenly, good enough isn't good enough anymore. They don't want to admit it, but they begin comparing themselves to you, to your work ethic, to your style, to your energy. You don't make them feel less than. You simply remind them that they've been accepting less from themselves. It can be inspiring, but it can also make people uncomfortable. You might hear things like, "Why are you always pushing so hard? Can't you just relax?" Or even worse, "You're too much." But what they really mean is this: your existence challenges my comfort zone, and I don't like it. And here's the thing, Leo, you don't have to lower your bar for anyone, because the right people won't feel threatened by your fire. They'll use it to light their own. You've probably seen it before. A friend who suddenly starts taking their goals more seriously after spending time with you. A partner who begins dreaming bigger. A colleague who steps up not because they were told to, but because your energy made mediocrity feel unbearable. That's what you do. You raise the bar without even realizing it, and the world adjusts around you. Life lesson. When you commit to your own greatness, you invite others to do the same. Not through pressure, but through presence. Keep rising. The ones meant for your light will rise too. Have you ever noticed someone leveling up their life after spending time with you, but never admitting you were the reason? Tell your story in the comments if you've seen this in action. Part 1. Hidden effect number 3. You reactivate people's dormant dreams. Leo, there's something you do that not even you fully understand. You awaken people, not with loud words or dramatic speeches, but simply by being alive in a way most people forgot was even possible. Your energy carries color in a world that has gone gray. Your laughter is full. Your presence is vivid. Even your silence has texture. And when people are around that kind of vitality, they start to feel something stir inside them. A memory, a longing, a version of themselves they buried long ago. That's what your presence does. It reactivates dreams. It reminds people of what it means to feel alive. Most people are walking through life like ghosts. They follow routines. They keep peace. They suppress fire. But then you walk into a room and suddenly the air changes. Conversations get louder. Eyes light up. Someone laughs in a way they haven't in years. It's not about performance, it's about permission. When people see you living fully, they remember they're allowed to want more. You've probably noticed how dull environments become electric when you show up, how workspaces feel lighter, how gatherings go from fine to unforgettable. It's because you carry emotional electricity, not forced, not fake, just natural. You're an amplifier of life. And people who've been surviving begin to crave living again. This is why some people feel addicted to your presence. They associate you with the parts of themselves they love most. But that also means they may feel lost when you're gone because you were the spark they couldn't generate on their own. So they miss you deeply. Not just because they like you, but because they like who they are when they're with you. That is the kind of effect most never see coming, but never forget. Life lesson: your fire isn't just for you, it awakens the fire in others. Live boldly. Leo, because your courage to feel fully is what reminds others they're still alive too. Have you ever noticed that people seem more energized, excited, or expressive when you're around, but quieter when you're not? Drop a comment if this sounds familiar to your experience. Part 1. Hidden effect number 4. You trigger competition without trying. Leo, you don't chase the spotlight, but somehow it always seems to find you. And when it does, others feel it too. Not just the warmth, but the urgency to be seen, to be noticed, to matter. It's subtle at first. Someone laughs a little louder when you're nearby. Another person tells a story with more flair than usual. Someone interrupts a conversation just to bring the attention back to themselves. But if you watch closely, you'll see the pattern. People begin to compete for your attention, for your approval, for your recognition. And it's not because you're playing games, it's because your focus is rare. And when you give it, it feels like gold. You see, most people never truly feel seen. They go through life receiving glances, not presents. But you, Leo, when you care deeply. When you listen, you truly hear. When you love, it's unmistakable. So when you give someone your attention, even briefly, they feel like the only person in the room. And that kind of energy, it's addictive. It makes people crave more. So they begin to perform, not always consciously, but in small ways. They adjust, they compete, they chase that feeling again. It's why in social groups, subtle rivalries can appear when you're present. Why even confident people may suddenly feel insecure. Why two people who got along just fine before might now be oddly distant because each is wondering, does Leo see me the way I want to be seen? And you're just being yourself. You didn't ask for any of it, but your light creates shadows, and some people will scramble to escape those shadows, even if it means stepping on others. It's not your fault, but it's something you should be aware of. Because while your presence inspires, it can also activate hidden insecurities in those who aren't ready to stand in their own light. Life lesson: when you radiate with natural power, people will compete for a place in your orbit. Not because you owe them anything, but because your energy makes them feel alive. Don't dim yourself to stop the tension, just stay aware of the dynamics you ignite. Have you ever noticed people acting differently around you, trying harder, being louder, or even competing for your attention without realizing it? Tell your story below if you've seen this hidden effect in action. Part 1. Hidden effect number 5. You become the permission others were waiting for. Leo, you might not realize it, but just by being fully yourself, you become something powerful in other people's lives. Permission. Permission to speak louder, to laugh unapologetically, to dress how they've always wanted, to dream without shrinking, to exist without explanation. You don't walk into a room asking for acceptance. You walk in already accepting yourself. And that alone disrupts everything, because most people, even strong ones, are still secretly asking, is it safe to be me here? Will I be too much? Will they judge me? Then they see you, and you don't ask those questions. You don't hesitate. You own your space. And something inside them whispers, if they can, maybe I can too. Leo, your authenticity liberates people. It reminds them of who they were before they learned to hide, before they were told to tone it down, before they believed that their truth was too heavy, too loud, too inconvenient. This is why people who are quiet around everyone else will suddenly open up around you. Why the shy ones start sharing their art. Why someone who always blends in begins dressing boldly after spending time with you. It's not always something you say, it's what you represent. You represent the life they want to live but haven't yet had the courage to claim. And in a world that teaches people to stay small, your very existence becomes a challenge and an invitation. Some will run from it, some will resent it, but the ones who are ready, they'll rise because of it. Not because you told them to, but because you made it feel possible. Life lesson: never apologize for taking up space, because when you do, you silently give others permission to do the same. Your light is not a threat, it's a map. Have you ever seen someone step into their power after spending time with you, not because you pushed them, but because you gave them the courage to be real? Share what you've seen. Your story might unlock someone else's. Part 1. Conclusion: the truth about your presence. So now you've seen it, Leo. Your presence isn't just felt, it shifts things. It stirs what's hidden. It invites what's sleeping to awaken. And the most extraordinary part, you don't even do it on purpose. You didn't ask people to reflect on their masks, but they do. You didn't ask anyone to step up their game, but they feel they must. You didn't plan to be the reason someone reignites their dreams, but somehow you are. You never created a competition, but your light makes people want to earn it. And you certainly didn't mean to be anyone's permission slip, but that's what you become, again and again. And this is just the beginning, because these are only the first 5 hidden effects of your presence. In the second part of this video, we'll go deeper into the more intense, more spiritual, and sometimes more painful ways your energy shapes the world around you. Ways that even you may not be fully ready to admit but need to hear, because understanding your impact isn't about ego, it's about responsibility. The more conscious you are of how you affect others, the more powerfully and ethically you can live. So take a deep breath, Leo, and prepare for part 2. The next half of this truth might just change the way you see your entire journey. Part 2. Opening when your light demands more than people can handle. Leo, some lights guide, others expose. Yours, it does both and more. You're not just a warm presence in people's lives. You're a catalyst, a force, a cosmic interruption. And what happens when someone who lives in comfort meets someone who lives in truth? Everything breaks, and everything begins again. In part 1, you saw how your presence awakens people, how it triggers shifts, reflection, and silent transformation. But in this second part, we're going to talk about the deeper layer, the part that isn't always celebrated, the part of your energy that doesn't just inspire, but confronts, divides, challenges. Because the truth is, your energy doesn't allow people to stay the same. Not for long. If someone comes close to you, they will evolve, or they will exit. There is no middle ground, not because you force it, but because the frequency you carry doesn't tolerate stagnation. So what happens when people aren't ready for the pressure your presence brings? They rebel, they resist, they resent. And in part 2, we're going to explore those moments, the hidden effects you have that not only activate love, loyalty, or admiration, but fear, avoidance, projection. Not everyone will thank you for the mirror you hold up to their lives, but the ones who are brave enough to stay, they'll become something new because of you. Let's begin. Part 2. Hidden effect. 6. You expose cowardice just by being brave. Leo, you make decisions that others only dream about. You follow your gut. You take bold risks. You speak the truth even when your voice shakes. You walk away from what no longer serves you even if it's comfortable. You dare to live fully. And while some admire that, others feel something very different when they're around you. Shame. Not because you shame them. You never need to say a word. Your courage does the talking. Your action is the accusation. Your growth is the confrontation. And that's the hidden effect no one prepares you for. Because when people see you doing what they've been too afraid to do, leaving the job, ending the toxic relationship, following the dream, standing up for your values, they don't just see your power, they see their fear. And for some, that's too much. Instead of being inspired, they get defensive. They start labeling you. Too impulsive, too dramatic, too much, reckless, irresponsible. But those words aren't about you. They're about them. They are attempts to distance themselves from what your courage makes them feel. If Leo can do that, what's my excuse? Because if your bravery is a choice, then so is their fear. And that's not something everyone's ready to admit. You might notice how people try to talk you out of the very things that light you up. They'll caution you, warn you, call it risky, say they're just looking out for you. But what they're really doing is protecting themselves. Because if you succeed after making that bold move, they'll have to admit they've been wasting time playing small, avoiding the very leap you just made. And that kind of realization, it cuts deep. This is why some people will quietly sabotage your growth, not out of hate, but out of self-preservation. They don't want to lose you. But more than that, they don't want to lose the illusion that playing it safe is the smarter path. You threaten that illusion just by living out loud, and so they pull back. Or they pull you down. But here's the truth, Leo. You didn't come here to live quietly. You didn't come here to ask permission. You came here to lead with fire, even if others aren't ready to feel the heat. Life lesson. Your courage will awaken many, but it will offend some. Don't stop being brave just because others aren't ready to rise with you. You are not responsible for their fear. You are only responsible for your flame. Has someone ever tried to discourage you from doing something bold, only for you to realize later it was their fear talking, not yours? Share your experience in the comments below. Part 2. Hidden effect. Martyr 7. You disrupt people's identities without saying a word. Leo, some people don't just admire you, they unravel around you. Not because you hurt them, not because you say anything cruel, but because your existence, your full, untamed, radiant existence makes them question everything they thought they were. You see, most people live in a constructed version of themselves, a version shaped by family, society, past, pain expectations. They build routines. They settle into roles. They identify with comfort zones. They begin to believe this is just who I am. Then you show up, and suddenly that carefully built identity starts to shake. Why? Because you don't perform, you don't shrink, you don't blend in. You walk in with truth written across your face, and without realizing it, you make others feel how far they've drifted from their own. You laugh too freely, you speak too boldly, you change when you've outgrown something without apology. And that, Leo, is spiritual confrontation. You don't tell people they're living a lie. You remind them just by being yourself that they're not living fully. And it messes with them. They start to question, why am I always filtering myself? Why have I ignored that creative dream for so long? Why do I care so much about what others think when Leo clearly doesn't? It's subtle at first, then it grows. And suddenly, they're in a quiet identity crisis they can't name. Not because of anything you did, but because of what your presence activated. This is why some people disappear from your life unexpectedly. They call less, they stop showing up, they drift. And it hurts because you did nothing wrong. But what they're really doing is escaping the pressure of evolution. Because change, real change, is terrifying. And being around you makes change feel inevitable. Not everyone is ready for that. Some will circle back when they are, others won't. But either way, you've planted something. A seed of truth, a possibility of more, a mirror they can't forget. And whether they thank you or run from you, you've already fulfilled your role. You reminded them of who they truly are beneath the roles they play. Life lesson: you don't have to preach transformation. You are transformation. Some people will love you for it. Others will fear you for it. But either way, your presence is a turning point in their story. Has someone ever drifted away from you after a deep connection and you knew it wasn't personal, just too intense for them? Share what you've experienced. Your story might help someone else understand theirs. Part 2. Hidden effect number 8. You make people feel their dreams are too small. Leo, when you talk about your vision for life, you don't whisper, you declare. You say things like, "Of course I will," or "Why not me?" and you mean it. You don't shrink your dreams to fit into someone else's comfort zone. You don't water down your ambition to make others feel better. You dream with your chest open boldly, naturally, unapologetically. And that makes people uncomfortable. Not because you're arrogant, but because you're expansive. You speak with the tone of someone who believes more is possible. And when someone who's been trained to think small hears that they're forced to confront something painful, maybe I've been lying to myself. Maybe I've played safe for too long. Maybe I stopped dreaming before I ever started. Your dreams act as a mirror, not to their potential, but to the limits they've accepted. You don't try to make anyone feel small, but standing next to someone who believes in themselves can feel threatening to someone who never learned how. That's why some people will call you delusional. They'll say, "Be realistic," or "Don't get your hopes up," but what they really mean is, "Don't remind me how much I've given up on myself." You weren't trying to trigger them. You were simply daring to live without the ceiling they built around themselves. And for those who are ready, your example becomes the very thing that sets them free. You'll start to notice them talking bigger, thinking differently, setting goals they never mentioned before. That's your energy at work, not preaching, not pushing, just existing. Because when you live in full color, it makes others realize they've been living in grayscale. And whether they admit it or not, you gave them a new palette. Life lesson: never shrink your dreams to fit someone else's comfort zone. Your courage to believe in more doesn't make others small, it reveals where they've settled. Keep dreaming out loud. The ones who are ready to expand will hear you. Have you ever noticed people around you becoming more ambitious, more open, or more visionary after hearing you speak about your goals? Leave a comment if you've been that mirror for others. Part 2. Hidden effect number 9. You reprogram people's belief in themselves. Leo, one of your rarest powers isn't just how much you believe in yourself, it's how deeply you believe in others. You see strength where others see weakness. You see potential where others see failure. You see light in people long before they know how to shine. And what makes this so powerful is that you don't do it halfway. When you believe in someone, you really believe. You speak life into their vision. You make them feel like their ideas matter. You talk to them as if greatness is not only possible, it's already within them, waiting to be claimed. And for many people, Leo, you're the first person who's ever done that. They've heard polite encouragement before. They've been supported conditionally, but your belief feels different. It feels unshakable. You look people in the eye and speak to the part of them that hasn't been activated yet, the artist. They've buried the leader. They've ignored the voice. They've silenced. You don't see them as they are. You see them as they could be, and your energy starts building that bridge in their mind. Here's what most people will never tell you. Your belief in them rewired their self-image. You changed how they see themselves. You introduced them to their power, and even if they later downplay your influence, you were the shift. The moment they chose to try again, to speak louder, to apply, to leave, to begin. But here's the complicated part. Not everyone can hold that kind of transformation with grace. Some will feel guilty that they needed you to believe in them before they could believe in themselves. Some may resent you for being the catalyst. And some may even blame you if they try and fail, as if your belief created expectations they couldn't meet. That's not on you. You were never their savior. You were their mirror, reflecting back the brilliance they were too afraid to claim. You don't give people their power, Leo. You remind them it was there all along. Life lesson: you are a bridge between what people believe about themselves and what's actually possible. Keep seeing their greatness even if they're not ready to own it. Your belief plants seeds that will bloom long after you've walked away. Has someone ever told you that your encouragement changed the way they saw themselves, even if they didn't admit it at the time? Drop a comment if you've ever felt like your words made someone step into who they were meant to be. Part 2. Hidden effect in number 10. You force people to choose evolve or exit. Leo, your journey doesn't move in circles, it moves forward. You are growth, you are motion, you are becoming every single day. And because of that, your energy carries an invisible demand. Keep up or fall behind. Not as a threat, not as an ultimatum, but as a natural law of your presence. When someone is close to you, the energy you emit creates pressure, not with words, not with demands, but simply because you refuse to stay the same. You evolve, you shed skins, you level up without asking permission. And that's where the silent decision happens for the people around you. They either rise with you or they fall away. You've likely seen this before. A friendship that once felt so aligned suddenly doesn't make sense. A partner who used to dream with you now resents your hunger for more. Family who can no longer relate to your mindset. Colleagues who once felt like allies begin to avoid your presence. And you wonder, did I do something wrong? The answer is no. You didn't hurt them. You outgrew the version of them that chose not to grow. Your evolution became the mirror they weren't ready to look into. Your expansion highlighted their stagnation. Your fire made them feel cold in their own stillness. And rather than face that pain, they leave. Sometimes with anger, sometimes with silence, sometimes with blame. But the truth is always the same. Your growth became the dividing line. And it hurts because you didn't want to lose them. You just wanted to keep becoming more of yourself. But here's what you must remember, Leo. The ones who are meant to stay will evolve alongside you. They'll stretch, they'll confront themselves, they'll feel the discomfort of your fire and choose to rise in it, not run from it. And those are the people you build with, the ones who choose transformation over familiarity, expansion over ego, depth over convenience. Let them go if they walk away. It's not a loss, it's a recalibration. And never stop growing just to keep someone who won't. Life lesson: growth is not abandonment. Evolution is not rejection. If your light makes someone leave, they were not meant for the next version of you. Keep going. Your tribe, your real soul circle is evolving too, and they'll meet you exactly where your energy is rising. Have you ever felt someone drift away as you began to grow, not out of conflict, but because they couldn't keep up with who you were becoming? Share your story below. Others need to know they're not alone. Part 2. Conclusion. Now you know why they react that way. Leo, for most of your life, you've probably wondered why people react to you the way they do. Why some people fall in love with you instantly and others walk away without warning. Why you're admired, imitated, envied, sometimes all at once. Why you attract attention even when you're not trying. Why your presence changes the tone of the room. Why connections burn fast, deep, and sometimes disappear just as quickly. Now you know. It's not just because of your personality. It's not just your charisma. It's your energy. It's the fire you carry that others can't always name, but they feel it. And when they feel it, something in them shifts. Sometimes toward you, sometimes away, but never neutral. Because you are not neutral. You are a cosmic event in people's lives. A breaking point, a mirror, a spark, a reminder, a wake-up call, a choice. And Leo, that is not something to apologize for. That is something to understand, to honor, to carry with intention. Now that you're conscious of these 10 hidden effects, you get to decide what kind of impact you want to have going forward. You can shrink, soften, dim yourself to make others comfortable. Or you can stand in your power, knowing that your presence will never leave people the same. The world doesn't need more soft lights. It needs more courageous ones. You are not here to be liked by everyone. You are here to ignite the few who are ready to awaken just by being who you are. So don't stop, don't hold back, don't question your fire. Because now that you understand your true impact, the only question that remains is, what kind of legacy will your energy leave behind? If this message resonated with you, share your experience in the comments. Someone else might be living the exact story you just recognized in yourself. And if you're ready for more content that speaks to your spirit as a Leo, not just your sun sign, but your soul, subscribe to Leo Zodiac Power right now, because your journey doesn't end here. It's only beginning, and we'll be here every step of the way to help you rise.